In addition to Roe v. Wade being overturned earlier today, the Iowa Supreme Court ruled earlier this month the right to an abortion is not protected in the state constitution. And this morning, the residents of Perry join a growing list of Americans who have faced the heartbreaking task of navigating the aftermath of a school shooting. The Dickinson County Sheriff's Office has reported a drowning at the Iowa Great Lakes. Police say a 76-year-old woman drowned at East Lake Okoboji, and it's our top story at 5. Those storms from last night knocked down this massive tree. A few minutes ago, I spoke to an Orange City resident. He told me this is the scariest weather he's ever seen in his life. He told me that he went down to the basement not because he was supposed to, but because he was just that scared. The Sioux City Police Department has a new driving simulator to help them prepare for whatever they might see on the road. Well, the Siouxland community of Bloomfield, Nebraska has been left shaken and angry in the aftermath of a deadly shooting that killed 2 men. What we know so far and when authorities are expected to share more info, coming up in our top story at 6:30. This small community has been rocked by 4 deaths at 2 different locations. A witness I spoke with says he heard an explosion at 209 Elm Street. Emergency crews found 1 dead person at that address. Then a second fire was reported just a few blocks away. And back in Siouxland, a barn fire in rural Lamar's killed multiple chickens inside and caused more than $100,000 in damage. Well, fires might not be on Siouxlanders' minds as they watch this snow come down, but Sioux City Fire Rescue says there are some safety tips Siouxlanders should keep in mind. Right next to me is the current location for Atticad Park. All the memories created here over the years will soon have a new home. Well, every victim of human trafficking has a different story, but one thing all survivors share is the struggle they faced to gain their freedom. And once they have that, it's only just the beginning as they relearn a new sense of normalcy. Casting a ballot for the election is not the only way you can exercise your rights as a citizen. I spoke to a couple longtime poll workers who told me why they keep coming back to help year after year. Lawmakers and state political parties shared their reactions to the VP debate. Well, the Air Museum hosted tennis shoes on the tarmac today. Now, kids learned about aviation inside a Boeing 727. That's got to be the coolest classroom I've ever heard of. They covered a lot of topics about aviation history, mechanics, and they even met people who work in the industry. A member of the Sioux City City Council continued to voice opposition to the downtown warming shelter at this week's council meeting, saying it should be declared a public nuisance. Well, reactions continue to pour in following the historic conviction of former President Donald Trump. Sources say Trump's team was not surprised by the verdict itself, guilty on all 34 counts, but it was surprised by how quickly it came down. Hi, Avia. What better way to start off the morning than with some ice skating? You can see quite a few kids here skating at the Sioux City Musketeers camp this morning. Now they've had a chance to work on a lot of different skills. Their balance, their shooting, some backwards skating, and we do have goalies here on standby, so plenty of opportunities to fire the puck on net. Well, commuters faced a delay coming into Sioux City this morning as fire crews battled a semi-truck ablaze. Well, data centers for companies like Google and Meta have been a growing topic of discussion in a number of Siouxland communities, and that includes Salix, Iowa, where residents met with city officials to share their concerns. Life in Siouxland looked a little bit different before the Woodbury County Conservation Fund was established. For starters, the Dorothy Pico Nature Center didn't even exist. Well, today I'm here with Alex Waters. You might know him from Sioux City City Council, but also with Morningside University. Thanks for stopping by today, Alex.
I'm excited to be here.
Well, election season is right around the corner, and for some areas, the ballots are looking pretty bare.
I spoke to folks who live in Sibley, Iowa, about why positions in their local government are difficult to fill this year and how that impacts the community. Jerry Johnson has been the mayor of Sibley, Iowa in Osceola County for 22 years, but his term is over in December and he's not running for re-election.
This is a wonderful town, and we have just about everything that you would want.
So who's running to take his place? Nobody. There are no candidates on the ballot, and the November 4th election is less than a month away.
I think we have people already that are interested, but it's gonna be write-ins, and that's kind of difficult.
Sibley also doesn't have a candidate for the City Council Ward 1 seat. The 2020 U.S. Census indicated the population of Sibley was 2,860 people. So why is a town with more than 2,000 people struggling to find a candidate for mayor?
You get guys that are quite busy in a couple times of the year, or maybe all times of the year.
Aaron Lorch with the Osceola County Republican Party says people in small agriculture-based communities are often busy year-round, so it's hard for them to also get involved in public service. He says you can see proof of that in declining numbers of volunteers in emergency services.
We're going to lose out on our proper EMT service and first responders because we just don't have enough people signing up.
Lorch says when a town struggles to find candidates for public office, that leaves residents wondering what's next. And he says the answer to that question might not be pleasant.
At what point does our town cease to exist? At what point are we forced to move to somewhere else or just even travel to get groceries?
And people say, the heck with it. Why should I serve if all it's going to be is a hassle, right? Or that people are just going to yell at me or be mad at me.
Jeff Vanderwerf is a professor of government and public life at Northwestern College. He claims there's another reason why some small towns struggle to fill all their city council positions.
We just run lots of elections, right? And so other places might not have as much of a chance because they don't need to find a 500,000 plus citizens that are willing to, enter public life as a public servant.
For now, it's business as usual in towns like Sibley, and folks will have to wait and see what November brings.
We're relying on a write-in candidate now, and whomever that is, they're going to get brought up to speed as to what's going on with the city and how council works. We'll have to worry about not having a candidate if and when that happens, and then we'll work with the auditor on what our next steps are.
If the city does not receive any write-in votes for mayor, then the next step is city council could fill the position by appointment. A couple other towns also don't have a candidate for mayor on their ballot. That's Chatsworth, Iowa in Sioux County and Archer, Iowa in O'Brien County.